Ladies and gentlemen, it is 1 p.m. and we will now start our March 9th regular council meeting. Call this to order, and I would ask, do we have any added items from council? Just a note that Councillor Harper is on vacation. Not able to be here today. And administration, do you have added items at all?
None, Your Worship.
Thank you. Then I would ask for a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as amended, or adopt the agenda. Did you hear Councillor Baershaw?
I will move to adopt the agenda as amended.
As presented.
Presented,
Thank
sorry.
you. No. Are they?
They are blank. Oh, okay.
They're blank. Yes, the server's down, unfortunately. That's right. So you'll have to bear with us, any of you. We cannot hook up to our server, and I know that Debbie has graciously worked early enough to get us all hard copies if you can't get onto your computer, and Joseph's got one. Good. So we can move on then to the regular meeting minutes, please, for adoption. Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that we adopt the minutes from the February 23rd, 2015 regular council meeting.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none then, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Now, did we vote on the agenda? I don't. We're going to backtrack and we'll vote on that. Right. Okay. We're good?
You're good.
Thank you. Presentation and delegations. Page 10 of your agenda, please. And it's item 4A. This is our campaign launch with regards to our community standards bylaw, and it looks like we are able to bring that up. And I'll leave this with Mr. McGuinness to lead.
Thank you, Your Worship. This has been a major body of work that collectively we've all been engaged in for quite some time. So just a little background, as a run-up to the 2013 municipal elections, we did hear through various campaigns that community standards were a priority for the 7 of the elected members that form this council. So as a result of that, our strategic planning that we went into after the election in 2013, this absolutely did rise up to the top as a priority. We put together a community standards project team and got to work on putting together a framework to bring together a number of pieces of legislation and current bylaws into one community standards bylaw. So again, in June of 2014, this was identified again when you did your performance review with your CAO that this was certainly still a priority. So we are very happy that today we have got to the point where we are going to launch our campaign. So again, a little background, we did look at 21 specific bylaws that are represented in this community standards bylaw. We analyzed reports from our community peace officer and bylaw officers, our report of problem set up on our website. We reviewed the submissions to that. We looked at bylaws from 10 other communities. We did do a public engagement piece in April of 2014, and leading up to that in public engagement, we had some electronic and written surveys that were done. And what came from all of that research and public engagement were 4 primary themes: public behaviors and nuisances, parking and traffic, care of properties, and dogs and cats. So today we have the ability to launch the draft bylaw on our website, our social media feeds, and I'm just going to pass it over to Monica to lead us through our campaign, and then we're going to ask members of council to stand in front of the display board so we can get a picture and do a proper launch of this. So, Monica.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Yes, we're very pleased to launch this today. I'm hoping it's going to go through for me, but to give you a little bit of the background, the campaign will be in the newsletters, the town hall newsletters, and they will go out tomorrow or the next day, and he is printing them as we speak. Dennis Patry and Janelle have kindly gone down to the radio station, recorded their advertisements, so they will begin this afternoon as well. Also, as we speak, Lorraine is just getting the electronic sign. It's on the corner. Now we gotta move it to the middle, so it should be good to go by now, I'm hoping. I have wallet cards for you to hand out, which we'll do after the photograph. It will be in the newspaper tomorrow afternoon. And social media I will look after as soon as council meeting's over today. So if all goes well, I'm going to launch this for you. This is the homepage of our web. Can everybody see it? Yes. So at the top we have a little bit of a preamble, and then of course our This Affects You. We divided the bylaw into 4 sections. If we push the big button, it will take us through the entire bylaw. I built the PDFs and our webmaster put them on, yes. Yeah. And it didn't load this slow for me earlier, but it could be part of our servers. So I'm just gonna kind of scroll through. They will come to the whereas, the definitions. The document in its entirety is 24 pages. So, public behaviors, care of properties.
So you're showing the don'ts in the pictures?
A little bit of both. And some communities, just what it's regarding. Those front pictures that you see on the 4 themes, the dogs and cats, those will be used on social media feeds as well, and it will have it'll have a couple questions, or it won't have questions. It will say topics covered in this section. So we want all of our feedback to drive to the web. We want everything from the newspaper ad. All we're doing right now is trying to drive to our website, to this bylaw, to get the feedback.
So the individuals that don't have, and there will be some, the ability to do that, will take their comments and then we will incorporate them into the big picture?
Yes, yes. Kelly Escalend is kindly looking after the feedback portion for us. So there's enough on our bylaw team that we will look after and compile all the if Kelly needs a hand, we'll be there to give her that hand. Okay.
When you say it's going to be in our newsletter, the utility bills, when they go out, the people, like Mayor Dahl stated, like some don't have computers, so will there sort of be a little comment area on that newsletter that they could bring back and give to the hall, give to Janelle at the front desk or something like that, just to make it easier so that they, you know?
Not at this point, Councillor Overwater, I just about did it. Because we only have the 2 pages, the 2-sided, we didn't have a lot of room. We will be using social media to have people share the fact that they need to come to the web. We'll also say if there's people that want to provide feedback or view the document in its entirety, we will have it available at town office. And we will assist them in going through the document as much as we can.
Thank you. We do have the computer by the development department that's
Yes.
for public use, and they will set that up. Councillor Duryea?
Thank you, Worship. While I completely appreciate what we're doing here, I think we also need to remember that with the public engagements, those people who are don't have computers in their home are invited to come to the public engagement. And I think that's what you're saying, that we're not only trying to drive things to the web, but subsequently, I think they need to be driven to the engagement sites when we do that, because we'll catch a number of those people that way.
We will most definitely, once this feedback period is through. Right now we want the written feedback basically only, until which time if they push the button to provide feedback through the web, they will get a posting of what dates the engagement is. Once the main drive to the feedback period is over, then we will start putting out those dates. But first we'd like as many comments written as we can get. So if I push the feedback button, it takes us to the page on our web. They can type in here, send it. I wonder if it will if there's nothing in. And then they'll get a bounce back. Good. Just because my address is invalid. They will get a bounce back saying thank you for your feedback and the public engagement dates are at this time. So if I go back again, if we have members of the public that, for instance, don't have a pet, they may not be interested in reading the entire bylaw. So that reason we split it out into the 4. Yeah, I think I'm there. So they can view it in sections and they work the same. So if they'd like to just view public behaviors, they click on these 4 side buttons and it brings up the short section. Feedback form again, like on the main page. They get to the end. They can decide either they want to provide feedback on that section or they would like to continue and view the entire document. And that's the same for all 4.
I hope it says no graffiti here, please, on the real sign, because it looks like we're encouraging graffiti.
It's the only thing I could find that was decent enough to, yeah, I think they'll get it.
Any questions?
Any other questions?
All right, let's make our way over to the back for a photo op.
Now, did you want to incorporate administration at this time or just council? Just council. And, yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Would you like us to hold that?
Okay, I will. That way you can get the whole sign. You want to get back and then push the roll towards the wall. Or not. You want us to? Oh, we're holding. Oh, we're holding.
I'll take one in.
Hold one.
They're all distorted.
Photoshop Mary Jane in, so we have a little
Really?
spot for her head.
Even the cover one?
Yeah, let me in. Let me in.
Okay. Thanks, Lorraine.
I'm gonna put my finger in the hole and talk to her. Oh, you guys are doing a great job. Good.
Can you move a little bit this way,
Yes.
Wade, so you're
Sure.
not in front of the bright window?
Yeah.
Is Rudy good?
Rudy
Is that possible with Photoshop?
Thank you. We did just get
You
word
good,
that
Joe?
we are having a little bit of trouble with the electronic
Yeah,
sign.
good.
Good
You wanna
things
roll
our
her up?
computers
You
are
got it?
back up
Come on,
working
put it
on
on
that.
on the fork. Where are we putting this banner at?
It will be hung tomorrow morning, first thing, on the side of the town hall building.
Oh, yes.
Season's greetings.
Thank you, Joseph.
Like how you
Guys.
Well, for the quilting too, right?
Oh, perfect.
It's the most difficult thing ever, folding.
Excellent, nice job. Are these on both sides? Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Oh. There.
So I don't know if you all heard me, electronic sign is distorting a little bit. We'll work on that. Yeah.
And so you said you have cards like this with no dates, and then you have cards with dates later, right? Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and I have to say that on behalf of council, we applaud you all for the work well done, as well as our community peace officer. who has had a lot of input, and all staff. Thank you very much. And I'll leave this for closing with our CAO, Mr. McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Worship. So to continue the process, we did launch today. We will get into what we call the feedback stage now. And it's really important that all of us work hard to ensure that our community knows that we really do want feedback on this. Making sure that we get the right balance is really important. So this is not just window dressing. This is an opportunity for some sincere feedback that we certainly will pay attention to. So that'll happen until early May, but we do plan on bringing the bylaw forward to a regular council meeting on April 27th for first reading. And then we will have our 2 community engagement opportunities, and we did have those dates and venues booked, but at the last minute here late last week, one of the venues phoned and said they were double booked, so we got bumped. So we're busy trying to get that second date confirmed. And ultimately, the plan is to bring the bylaw back to council on May 25th, where we hope it'll receive second and third reading and become legislation. So that's the plan, and thanks everyone for their involvement and their efforts in this.
Yes, I do not believe we will need a motion for this. This was an information and photo op. And once again, Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is to Mrs. Leatherdale. Would you were saying you were going to talk to businesses to be able to put signs up around. Will that happen?
I think CO Wag staff has graciously let his, or will be letting his community facilitators do that for us.
Oh.
But we do have some posters ready, and we'll be no doubt that we will get them in our own facilities first. And
All right. Thank you very much, folks. We'll move down to item 5, business arising out of minutes. Seeing none, bylaws, page 37, please, of your agenda. We will start this afternoon with the public hearing. I call the public hearing or I now declare the public hearing for bylaw 2015-02 open, at which time I ask Development Officer Ms. Keelan to explain the purpose and effect of the proposed bylaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good afternoon. Bylaw 2015-02 is being presented as a land use bylaw amendment that's dealing with implementation of the Uptown Olds and the East Olds area redevelopment plans. Each plan actually contains an implementation component that recommends amendments to other plans, and in this case we're looking at the land use bylaw. These amendments are necessary in moving forward to achieve the goals and objectives of both area redevelopment plans. First of all, with regards to the Uptown Olds area redevelopment plan, the first area to be addressed is the acknowledgement of the existing residential areas or developments that are in the plan area that are or have been zoned central commercial C1. And currently in the C1 district, the list of permitted and discretionary uses do not include residential uses, no single family dwellings or anything like that, which means one would not be permitted to rebuild or add on to a residential use building. Recognizing that some of the existing residential uses will remain so in many years to come, the Uptown Olds area redevelopment plan has acknowledged this by recommending that residential use be added to a discretionary use in the C1 district. As it would be a discretionary use, each application would be reviewed on a case-by-case basis and presented to the Municipal Planning Commission for approval or refusal. Therefore, this bylaw amendment proposes adding to the list of discretionary uses to the C1 district detached dwelling, duplex, multiplex, row housing, and secondary suite. Then if we were adding residential uses, we would require setting some regulations with regards to setbacks. And we propose that the setbacks be, as in your agenda, the front yard at 6 meters, the side yard at 1.5 meters, unless it abuts a road, it would be 3 meters, and then the rear yard minimum rear yard 6 meters. And these are all just standard setbacks that are used in pretty much all of the other residential districts. Also, as recommended in the Uptown Olds Area Redevelopment Plan, the maximum parcel coverage regulation for this residential use would be 80% coverage. We would propose adding that to the land use bylaw as well. And then, because mixed use is one of the policies that is promoted in the commercial developments in the Uptown area, Uptown Olds plan area, we would also recommend adding mixed use at commercial grade as a permitted use in the C1 district. And then to provide a little more clarity to these recommended amendments, we propose, or the area redevelopment plan for Uptown Olds actually proposes adding definitions as cited: brownfield site, heritage preservation, infill development, pedestrian scale, public realm, streetscape, traffic calming measure, uptown core, and just a general definition of the Uptown Olds Area Redevelopment Plan area. And all of these are just to help in providing clarity when dealing with applications moving forward. So then, moving on to the East Olds Area Redevelopment Plan, most of the implementation items required were with regards to definitions also. And some of them have already been covered, as I just mentioned, in the Uptown Olds definitions, but in addition to those ones, the ARP is recommending we add a definition for the East Olds Area Redevelopment Plan: frontage, overlay district, porch, and private outdoor amenity space. So in conclusion, these amendments to the land use bylaw will assist staff and council to be better equipped to address future development permit applications and inquiries for both of our area redevelopment plans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'm just looking at our gallery, and I am going to ask if we do have individuals this afternoon that are here for this public hearing other than staff. Seeing none, I'm going to open the floor at this time then and ask council for comments and move right down to the bottom page here rather than going through all the questions that are unnecessary. Open this to the council for comments at this time then. Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Worship. I just need a bit of an explanation with regards to mixed use at commercial grade. Top of page
yes.
38,
Yeah.
sorry.
Through the chair, sorry, that might be a bit of a typo. I think it's mixed use commercial at grade, so that's a bit of a typo there. But it is meant, the amendment actually is to be mixed use commercial at grade. So the commercial will be on the main floor and in dwelling units would be on the second floor. So a bit of a typo there. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you, Councillor Duryea. Any further questions or comments from council? Thank you. Do you have final comments at all?
No,
Ms.
thank
Keelan?
you, Your Worship.
Seeing none or hearing none, I now declare the public hearing for the bylaw closed. And I draw to your attention now, first reading was on February 9th, and we were now asking for second reading of this bylaw. Councillor Duryea.
I appreciate it, Your Worship. I move that second reading be given to bylaw 2015-02.
Questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. Those in favor, that's carried. And third and final reading, please. Councillor Baershaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that third and final reading be given to bylaw 2015-02.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none from administration or council, we'll move down to new business. We have no items under new business. Therefore, I would ask your attention, please, to go to page 42. I would like one of Councillor, you're not Councillor Harper, you're Councillor Bennett. Okay, Councillor Bennett, could you put a motion on the floor, please?
I move that the reports from elected officials for the period ending March 9th, 2015 be received for information
Thank you. Being it is not the end of the month, however, I would like the opportunity for all council to speak at this time if they so wish. Who would like to speak? Councillor Bennett?
Thank you, Your Worship. I had my community learning campus meeting on Monday night, and what was brought out of one of the amenities portion would be refurbishing the football field and thinking ahead for producing or for making up another one probably south of where that one is if land became available. And then we understand that it was gravelly, that the drainage is not proper on it. There was a lot of money that was set aside by the Calgary Stampeders, the Edmonton Eskimos, and wondered if there was any room for Mountain View County and ourselves to at least have the discussion about building or helping them build this football field. And I know that you coach Councillor Duryea, so I just wondered if that was, they said that yes, gravel, drainage, and when the kids fall, often they get badly scraped or lacerated. So I'll open this for discussion if nothing else.
So this report was coming from the CLC Governor's meeting, Board of Governors meeting. And I believe what I'm hearing is that Councillor Bennett's just asking if there's something that you may share, being you're a coach, is there something you could share with us that we could add to a future discussion if we had to have a discussion with them? We will be meeting, which reminds me, Mr. McGuinness, if you could also add after Councillor Duryea, any of council items for our joint college meeting. This might be one we discuss. Would you like to add anything at all, Councillor Duryea?
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Bennett, for attending that meeting. The reason I expressed my appreciation is because I know one of the thrusts of the football team is to get a construction of a field house. Thank you, that's the word I wanted. And I understand that there was some monies for it, but not enough monies for it. And so that would probably be the next step for that particular football field. I have not had any complaints that I can recall from players, from parents, from other coaches with regards to the field being too gravelly. I thought they did a really good job of that field as far as the football was concerned. Maybe they need to grow just a bit more grass, but I think we were very, very happy with the way everybody responded to how that field got built and the way it's being maintained. So it's an additional football field. Well, let's just build a stadium.
Councillor Barishaw, did you have your?
I was just going to ask you.
Oh, okay. I believe this would be a discussion then, Mr. McGuinness, for administration at another date, and I'll give you the mic.
Thank you. So just to refresh everyone's memory, 5 p.m. April 23rd is when we will be meeting with the Board of Governors with Olds College. So these are certainly the types of things that we do need to discuss with Olds College. I do believe, my personal opinion is, the town of Olds put $1 million cash into the CLC, and if we're going to continue to put money into facilities there, I think it's incumbent upon us to have a discussion of whether this governance framework that is in place for the CLC is working for all of us. So again, I think that that's a proper discussion to have with the college and with the CLC board. So we do have a number of things that certainly administration is working on for that joint meeting with Olds College, and development of outdoor spaces certainly will be one of them. We need to come to a conclusion on whether we're going to grow our outdoor recreational facilities there on campus, or whether we're going to develop the land that we have in the northwest section of town.
I think Councillor Barishaw is next, and you can certainly, is it supplemental to the comment? Okay.
Sorry, in addition to that, the discussion also included that they were thankful that the North Fields were probably going to be developed next as well. So they were appreciative to hear that. And they did thank us for all that we have done. So thank you.
Councillor Barishaw.
Thank you, Worship. I would just like an update from administration on the issue of graffiti, which I've raised before, but I see some more on the, well, it's probably been there for a while, but on the back of the Kolb Mall there's a whole bunch, as well as as one of the businesses in town, and I realize we've got we have our bylaw coming out, but is there nothing that we can do, or maybe an update as to what's going on with the businesses in town and some of the instances that we've raised as a council as to where we're at with that?
Okay. In all fairness, did you want, okay, this is actually report period. I was going to say, would you like to leave that question for question period? Or?
Wherever it fits
Okay.
in. I just would like an update, update as to what's happening. And
would you like to leave that for question period, or?
We'll take it as a notice of motion, and we'll bring back a report to a subsequent committee meeting, as I believe that's the framework that we've all agreed to.
That's correct. That's why I wanted to clarify with Councillor Barishaw, because that is a question, and it will need further. Thank you very much for that. Before I note anything, would any other councillors like to speak? Councillor Walsh.
Just a comment. Cape had 2 meetings here at Olds College on Friday, Committee for Communications and Marketing, and EDO Committee, Advisory Committee to Cape. And they were quite impressed with our community. Like, a lot of them had heard about Cape and they'd seen our awards and all that, but to have sit down and tour of the facilities, especially around the college, they're going, how many people are in Olds? I go, 8,500? You say, are you serious? This stuff is way beyond. Even had a councillor from Wetaskiwin saying, oh, maybe I should move to Olds. We have better facilities than they do. So, you know, I just reflect on how well the college does at giving these tours of the college and speaking for the community and the college. Kerry did the tour, and he did an excellent job. But coming out of that, I was also thinking, we as a community should be able to do a similar thing with visitors to our town. Having a couple people that are able to maybe access the college and give a tour, and access facilities within our own community to give a tour. I know we do it in an informal way, but if we had a more formal process so that when we have visitors coming, we could actually give them a tour of our community and just impress them as much as these people were impressed who knew about us to begin with. Just a thought.
That's a great thought, and I can share that our Olds Physician Retention and Recruitment Committee are experts at that, because they tour our doctors, potential proposed doctors, and they have it right down packed to exactly how the tour and what the tour looks like. So they would be, and secondly, we'd first have to know when they were coming and have some sort of a plan for that. Mr. McGuinness, Councillor Dury will get to you as soon as we have a response.
As well, I recall when the Heritage Group was in town, the Museum and Historical Society did a fantastic tour of the community, and then we did go to Olds College, and Kerry did a tour of the college. So we do have it available in place, so when the opportunities are there, if we have enough lead time, I'm sure we have the resources in town to do a proper job.
Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Worship. I would be extremely remiss if I didn't express appreciation for the opportunity to attend the Olds College Gala. I was a little bit leery, having heard a few things beforehand, but my attendance there was, I was so impressed with the attention to details, with the students who greeted us, with President Tom Thompson who greeted us, with food, of which I partook of too much. I should also mention I mean, people were there, and there was wine, and there was a wet bar, I think, I'm not sure. but they also had a non-alcoholic station,
Very nice.
which was so cool for, for weird people like me. And so I just wanted to express my appreciation for the town for allowing me to go to this gala, and not only that, but meeting a number of people and getting to know these people and kind of making those connections was really awesome. So thank you.
Thank you. I will carry forward then. And on a topic we just spoke about, I had the opportunity to share with the play Battle of Olds along with Mr. McGinnis, and they were handing out Mountain View Museum historic tour guides of the spots, which we have 20 historical homes that they tour in town, along with side-by tours as well. So it's really good to know if Councillor Walsh, we were to put all this together, we could almost spend a special day in the summer just to have strictly and have people book for this tour and get a bus, etc. So that was exciting, and I learned a lot of that. I received a call from Service Canada with regards to their Olds outreach project that they have here at Alberta Works at the CLC. It was a pilot project for 1 year. Now, they contacted me and made it very clear that the decision was made into the element to open the service ongoing and continue. It will be once a month, third Thursday of each month from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Excuse me. Alberta Works office, it will remain in the Alberta Works office at the location they are. And she did indicate to me that these pilot projects are typically not successful in that they're very impressed with the town of Olds. They were finding 20, the mark was about 20 plus clients per day and growing, which was amazing for Olds. So congratulations to all the people that made that happen, and they will be staying with us now. Also, I was able to attend and bring greetings and speak with the Central Alberta Pregnancy Care Centre for their second annual gala. They've grown double from what they were the first year, and very, very impressed that they have new programs that they'll be starting. They'll be starting a new fathering program. Of course, pregnancy care is for women, but it does have a component of where we need to be there for the gentlemen as well. They are looking for board members now that they're growing so fast. They had just short of 300 people attend their second annual gala, which was overwhelming. And the speakers were fantastic. I encourage us all to go next year. They would be looking for people to serve on the board now that they're growing so fast. And let's see. One line that somebody brought out that I liked was Olds will be, and they said, a city on whose lights will not dim. I'd like to change the city to Prairie and use that line. We could use that as a tagline. I really like it. I'll bring that back to you. Probably see it in some of my reports. As well, Councillor Dury and I were pleased to be invited this year to attend the Mountain View Science and Technology Science Fair. I've had the honor of being able to judge this as a judge every year since I've been here, and I am absolutely overwhelmed by the students in that fair and the abilities that they have and share. And I'm very proud of all the students. And the judging was not easy, and I'm sure Councillor Duryea and I bumped into each other several times wondering how are we ever going to mark this student. They're brilliant. As well as the ACAC Women's Volleyball Champion Awards Banquet. What a treat that was to have all those ladies in one room and attend a couple of their volleyball games at the Ralph Klein Center. Very important that we continue to showcase sports. So is there any other comments or questions at this time? Hearing none? Yes. Councillor Overwater.
Do you want me to wait for actual question period?
If it doesn't entail, if it's not, if it doesn't entail an answer from administration and they're not prepared, if they, is it going to have to come back to council in your opinion?
Probably.
Okay. You can certainly raise it.
Notice of motion.
Yeah, you can raise it as a notice of motion for administration. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It has to do with the clinic, you know, our clinic downtown by Shoppers. And I'm wondering if, I know Olds Institute sort of are the people that sort of look after getting doctors and such there, but is there any possible way that the clinic can be approached to get some sort of number machine or something on the outside of that building? It's really disheartening when you see older people standing there shivering and they're already sick, but they have to stand in line in order to, you know, get a number so that they can actually get into the walk-in clinic. Is there some way that that can be looked at to make that a little easier, especially, like I say, for the elderly, because it's not good when they have to stand there and freeze and they're already sick. And so can that be brought up to somebody? I'm not sure who.
Yes, certainly can be brought up to the administration at the clinic.
Thank you. So we have 2 notices of motions today, and we will hear back from our administration on those. We have a motion on the floor from Councillor Bennett. Did we vote on? No, we're doing that right now. To accept for information reports. All in favor? Yeah, I thought maybe you had another question. All right, good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll move down now then to, we have no quarterly financial position, no accounts payable. That's odd. Okay. And correspondence, page 43 of your agenda, please. Who would like to put that motion on the floor? Who hasn't? Councillor Overwater? Councillor Overwater, would you like to put that motion?
Make the motion that the correspondence and information report ending March 9th, 2015 be received for information.
Thank you. Do we have questions with regards to any of the letters? Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think the request from the Parkland Airshed Management Zone has come to us previously.
That's correct.
And I'm wondering if there's any.
It comes.
Is it worth looking at being a part of that again, or I just wondered that because I know it's come before us.
That's correct.
Before, Your Worship.
That's correct. It comes to us annually, and I had the same question. If administration chooses to make any comments to this, we'll continue to just receive it for information and or have a discussion and perhaps wait to add it to our agenda again until we decide to bring it back as a request for decision. Mr. McGuinness?
Thank you, Your Worship. Sort of the litmus test that I use with things like this, in particular with PAMS, we've provided significant information over the years to PAMS, but really have not had a report or anything that we've used to inform any of our strategic decisions. So they do good work, and I know it's important work, but it just doesn't seem to fit with our top priorities at this point.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Duryea? Others? And I have none either. So at this...
Your Worship, if I could,
yes, I'm sorry.
maybe just in conjunction with our approved MSI initiatives, maybe just a word on the announcement that was made in Red Deer on Friday. It looks as though the provincial government has found $400 million within the 2014-2015 budget and are topping up MSI. So to us, so on Friday what we heard was it works out to about $49 per capita, but because of the formula, some will get more than others. And the information that came out late Friday, it looks as though Olds is going to get about $745,000 of new money from MSI for 14-15. What we don't know is what's going to be in the budget in March 26th for 15-16, and I'm assuming that there's going to be some trade-off. But we do have our approved projects for what we're going to tender this year. We'll be going out, and at least, you know, if we do have to sort of ride the flow of the economy with the provincial government, at least we have some time to sort of work with that. So I don't think it's a bad scenario, and we will keep you posted on what this means when the budget is announced on March 26th.
Mr. McGinnis, is that new money then added to our current annual MSI?
It is, yes.
So what is that current, Mr. Lucas? 2.1? Okay, perfect. And yes, any further questions or comments? But yes, we have to live and let live until we know what the 26 budget means. So thank you very much for sharing that information. And at this time then, we will vote on the motion. We're done? No more questions? All those in favor? That's carried. That's great news. Thank you. I think for question period with the media, we will adjourn the meeting and then speak with the media to whom they wish to speak to. Adjournment? Councillor Walsh, it's your turn. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you for attending this meeting today, ladies and gentlemen in the media. Thank you.
Olds Community TV, your go-to channel for news and information in Olds, Alberta.